About a year ago, I built this iron farm in my spawn chunks, and this has been my main source of iron ever since. But it looks gross, all right? It's just a regular looking iron farm fully exposed to the world, which is just not great. So I figured today, it's very long overdue, but I would finally give this thing a makeover. I hope you guys enjoy what I came up with for this little transformation. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get started with the video. Are you guys able to tell that I got a new microphone? You know, I really hope you are able to tell. I hope it sounds a lot better. And for tax purposes, this was 1,000% a business expense. All right, everything I bought for this thing, 100% for my business. But enough about microphone shenanigans. Let's move on to the builds for today. A couple episodes ago, I built this castle, and I think it looks pretty sick. The problem is that the terraforming looks like absolute doo-doo. What? What the fuck? This pretty badly needs to be touched up. I was going to do this last episode, but then it was spooky season, so I think no one's gonna blame me because spooky season takes priority over most things. But to begin this episode, I want to touch up the terraforming around this area. I would also like to hatch 3 chickens. That would have been cool. But let me go grab a bunch of dirt and we can start terraforming. So I think I've vastly underestimated how much work this is actually going to take. Just flying around and looking at this, this is gonna be a pretty large terraforming project. Like, I don't know what the hell to do with this. This is kind of in the way. Like, not exactly, but it's close. It's adjacent. There's also some cats down there. That's actually pretty sad. Hold on, actually. Let me go save those guys. All right, we got one. What's up, little man? You stay there. Let me go get your friend now. All right, we got the friend. Let's go. And you have 2 different colored eyes. Oh, that's beautiful. This is already the best start to an episode I think I've ever had. We got 2 cats. This is fantastic. All right, now I think I can fly away and they can teleport, hopefully. I don't think my cat's supposed to do this. We got both cats in the bedroom looking very nice right now. And I think I have some name tags somewhere. So if you guys want to provide some names for these cats, I will definitely name them next episode. And actually, speaking of names, we still have this unnamed parrot all the way down here. My boy has been sitting here looking at this piece of wood for like 1,300 Minecraft days. He's just hanging out. He's been here pretty much from the beginning. I think I got him in the first episode, maybe the second episode. I don't actually remember, but it was very early on. I guess this little lad needs a name too. I probably asked this already and then just didn't name the animals. I gotta be honest, I probably forgot to do that, but I will definitely take name suggestions from the comments for next episode. Anyway, though, let me drop off all this extra fish and then we can start terraforming, which I am very much looking forward to, dude. This is gonna take a long time. Now, it definitely looks really weird, right? Because all of the walls here are just perfectly flat. But that's kind of the idea. I do want to add some retaining walls going around here eventually. I'm not going to do that at the moment because I don't exactly know where the pathway is going to go. I kind of outlined a few areas where the pathway could go, like where I'm walking right now. I think we can probably have a pathway going all the way around the mountain. We can have another layer of the pathway like right here. This one kind of abruptly ends, but I don't know what I want to do with this just yet. And then also down here again, there's kind of an area for another like 3rd level to this pathway that can keep going down here and to another part of the city potentially. So I'm leaving it very bare at the moment, but I do think it looks a lot better than it did before. And I'm also playing on Halloween, as you can probably tell, as all the zombies there have jack-o'-lanterns on their head. I kind of love that. But that is all of the progress I wanted to make on the terraforming today. So let's shift focus onto the main build of the episode, which is going to be the iron factory. For the walls of this factory, I would like to have a rather mild gradient, but I want to go from the bricks all the way up to these jungle planks, and I think these blocks in this order accomplish that. I'm still trying to get better at working with gradients. It's still kind of tough for me to, exactly blend the colors together, but I think this is going to look pretty cool. And I also think I want to mess with shadows a little bit more. I've been trying to learn some more advanced building tips in this game, and a lot of the better builders use a ton of shadows. And what I mean by that is I can bring a darker color brown here, like stripped spruce logs, and I can mix that in with the packed mud and the jungle planks near the top of the building, specifically in areas that could be shaded, like spots that are directly under the roof or directly under like a window cover or something like that. And then for the roof blocks, we're probably just going to use some deep slate stuff. So I'll use a mixture of like cobbled deep slate, Probably some deep slate brick slabs, that same kind of design that I usually go with whenever I make a deep slate roof. We'll throw in some tuff and some moss on the roof to make it look a little deteriorated. It'll essentially be the same roof design that we used in the farming village a few episodes back, this right here. I'm a really big fan of these roof designs, and I think it'll fit perfectly in an old factory build. I think I can do a pretty good job with this. This is probably the most advanced build that I'm going to have in this world, and you know, hopefully I don't screw it up too bad. But let's start gathering up all these materials. Off I went then to the mesa to gather some terracotta. This block looks fantastic with all the other wall blocks I'm going to be using, so I had to gather up a ton of this stuff. Needed to get some more jungle wood, so just hopped right over to the jungle that's very close by. And then of course I needed to get a crap ton of granite. I think that is the block I end up using the most of in this build. I don't know how true that is, but it felt like I used a lot of granite. After that though, I decided to get some mangrove. I don't end up using this at all. I wanted to use this for some shadow effects on the bottom of the build, but I just kind of didn't. I decided to use another block down the line, which actually kind of acts like less as a shadow, but you'll see what I mean. And then the final block that I gather in this section is some clay to make some bricks. Now, before I do anything else in this video, I have a little bit of an announcement to make. I got a new Minecraft skin, and it's like actually kind of me. I think it looks pretty sick. Got my beard, got a mustache, got the hair color sort of accurate. I also got a little sandwich on my shirt. This skin was done by Callie, so I will leave their link to everything in the description. So if you would like to commission them to make you a skin, feel free to do so. I think they did an amazing job. Now there's a lot of work that has to be done to spawn, right? Because I built this squid farm that just doesn't work a few episodes back. And also with that squid farm, I got rid of a lot of the water around here. So we're gonna have to fill all this back up with water at some point. I don't know if I want to worry about that right now. At the moment, I want to make this landscape up here look a lot better. And I think the way I'm going to do that is by getting rid of this part of the mountain and bringing everything down to like this level over here. Oh man. All right, well, let me go ahead, put down a beacon, and I guess let's start working. Quick progress update. It really doesn't even look like I made all that much progress, but my pickaxe is about dead. It has 3 durability left, and I do not want to lose my man, the Silk Touch one. And also my shovel Billy Bob has seen better days. So I'm going to take a quick break, and we're going to go ahead and repair both of these tools, and then I'll be back to the grind. I'm probably going to have to repair these tools like 2 more times before I finish this. Once again, my trusty pickaxe is about to die. But, you know, a little bit more progress was made. I didn't really use my shovel too much more this time because it's mostly stone at this point, but let's go back to the Guardian farm and repair the pickaxe. I ended up needing to repair my tools like 6 times when I was cutting down this mountain. So instead of coming back with 4 more progress reports, I figured I would just show you guys the rest of me chopping it away. For whatever reason though, there was one section of me cutting this mountain away that just wouldn't render out in replay mod. I don't know what kept happening, but the game kept crashing. I apologize for that, but there is one section of me clearing this out that just isn't here right now. After clearing all of that out, stone is by far my most mined block. I have mined 50,000 more stone than I have grass, and grass is in second. That's kind of nuts right now. I'm pretty sure before I started clearing this out, they were just about tied. This took way longer than I was expecting it, and it's honestly not even done, but I'm getting tired of clearing this out, and I really just want to start building. But first, let me get a chicken. Darn. Another thing is that I think I'm going to have to move my iron farm, because I want the iron farm in the factory somewhere, and, you know, with where it's placed now, I'm going to have to do a good amount of terraforming around the side of this mountain, and I kind of just don't want to do that. I cleared enough space back here where I can pretty easily just shift it back, like right where I'm looking right now, and then just, you know, expand the factory from there. But for now, we can leave the farm where it is, and we can kind of just let it cook while I'm making the factory. And if anyone's wondering how much stone I got out of this, I got 5 double chests full, like completely, and then a little bit of the 6th. That's a lot of stone. I probably won't be needing any more stone for a very long time. Also got a good amount of dirt. Each of these has, you know, a double chest behind it. And one more thing, if anyone's wondering how much iron I have in this world, because this has been going on, obviously, since I built it pretty much. There's all this in here, which doesn't really look like all that much, but then this chest is nearly full with blocks of iron. So we have a lot of iron in this world. But it's finally time we can start building. I'm going to take some of this stone and I'm going to map out where this build is going to go. I say we have a wall over here of length 17, and then maybe we have it go this way about 19 blocks. Actually, I think I want it to be a little bit longer, so let's go a couple more blocks. This is definitely not going to be a small build, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, I think this is a good size. We're going to have a lot of floor space in here, which is really nice. So that'll be the main part of the factory, and then we're going to have a couple buildings off to the side over here, and these are going to be a lot smaller. So it kind of looks like a mess, but let me explain my mess. So this is going to be the main part of the factory, like I mentioned before, and then we have 2 little offshoots, which I think are going to mainly be like extra storage or something. And then I put some extra pieces of stone up front. These are going to act as like the supporting beams to actually frame out the build in its entirety. I think it's going to look really cool. We're going to have some nice big windows in these gaps. It's going to look sick, I think. Let me quickly travel back home, grab a shulker box of stone stuff, and I'll be back. I'm just going to start out with the tuff we gathered. I'm going to go through and pretty much change all of this stone into tuff. And I'm going to build all of this tuff up 1 more block. We're going to have a 2-block base here at the bottom. And now it's time to work in a little bit of texturing. And we're going to do this with some cobblestone, with some moss, and some mossy cobblestone. And I think this looks pretty good for the texturing. I tried to keep all the mossy stuff towards like the corners of the building. So either where like the building changed direction or where there was just one of these like support beams sticking out. So I think this is actually a really solid start. So now we can work in some of the red blocks. Just for now, I'm going to take these 3. We got granite, we got bricks, and we got terracotta. So what I'm gonna do is on top of all of these blocks, I'm gonna put 2 layers of terracotta. I didn't go around and put the terracotta everywhere just yet. I think I'm just going to focus on this side wall over here, just so I can get like the color gradient and stuff down, and then we can replicate that all the way around. Yeah, I think that looks nice just going up to the mud, and I think that's a pretty good size. I think I'm most likely going to run out of bricks if I try to do this all the way around right now. So I think, let me just focus on the main rectangle here and see if we can get this completely built. And then I'll go gather more bricks if I need to. All the walls of the main rectangle are up, I guess except for that one piece of mud block up there. I do this all the time. Okay. Well, all the walls are pretty much up. I think next I want to put on, like, I guess the roof, sort of. It's going to be weird, kind of, because there's going to be another little building up top here on this roof. So let me just grab some deep slate and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So up here, I'm going to have a combination of the deep slate tiles and the deep slate brick slabs, just as like the floor and the roof. And we'll probably have to do some kind of spawn proofing up here as well. I can always just raise these by half a slab at some point later if I need to, because the iron farm itself is going to go down here. So I'll have to make sure that none of the iron golems can spawn up here, but that shouldn't be an issue. You can kind of think of this as like the second floor, I guess. It's going to be about this big. I originally was going to have a much smaller, you know, building on top of this building, but it didn't look right. Like I couldn't really see it from the ground. I didn't really like what it looked like. So we're going to expand it and have actually a pretty decently sized building up here. After mapping out the dimensions of the building on top of the factory, I went and built up the walls using the same gradient design that we used for the rest of this build. This section though is actually going to come to a peak for the roof, so I decided to throw that on as well, where we're going to be using some deep slate while mixing in some mossy blocks and some tuff to make it look a little bit destroyed. I would now like to work on some wall designs, so let's use this wall back here to try to figure out what kind of windows we want. I feel like I always forget scaffolding for builds anymore, but whatever. Let me just cut out a whole bunch of this wall here. I want to come around here with some walls so we can actually frame out the windows a little bit better. And I think something like this looks pretty cool, but let's mix in some brick walls as well. I kind of think something just as simple as that looks pretty nice. Like, I'll put some glass in here for sure. but I like that as the frame. And now, of course, I forgot glass because, you know, why wouldn't I? But before I go back to grab any, let me try another little wall design up here. So on top of the window, what if we kind of just extend this going all the way across? And then let's add some stairs to make a little archway. That does make a pretty weird spot there at the top, but I feel like putting stairs like that looks pretty cool. I think that looks really good. I like the whole crossbeam section, and I think it divvies up the wall really well. And I feel like hanging some lanterns from that is going to look awesome. But before we get to that, let me go home and grab some glass. I also wanted to run down to the super smelter quickly and bring all the rest of the clay balls that we haven't smelted yet. I'm going to set up a very small super smelter near the factory, just so the rest of these clay balls smelt while we're working. You know what, I was actually just about to complain that I didn't bring any fuel, but then I remembered how much of a mountain I just destroyed, and how much coal I actually got from that. That's amazing, let's go. And part of me thinks maybe I should use a different color of glass, but I do feel like just the regular glass looks pretty nice. I think I might go through later if I can remember to do this. I probably won't. But I might go through later and incorporate some white stained glass in there too, just to make the windows look a little bit older. I used this effect on my nether build and I really liked how it turned out. But before I actually go any further, do I want to have walls on the bottom here? I think I do. I think I like that version of the window a little bit more. The more I actually look at what I've built so far, the more this is bothering me. I've messed up the gradients on 2 of these sides, I think. This is supposed to be brick at the bottom and then granite near the top. It might not look much different, but I prefer this a lot more. And I definitely like this enough to duplicate this to all of the sides, so let's go ahead and do that. Now, quick update. I have run out of glass, so I wasn't able to finish off this side here. But I pretty much have the shape of everything in, and there is no window right here, and there is also no window on this end of the opposite side of the building, because I think I want some like copper tubing going through this side, just to make it really look industrial. I'll build that up probably near the end, but I just wanted to let you guys know why there is not a window there. But the place is definitely coming along. I feel like it can certainly use some greenery, but once again, we'll get to that near the end. In the meantime, while I let everything smelt, I'm going to build up the walls of the rest of the entire build. Or at least until I run out of brick, whatever happens first. I am now out of bricks, but I have done a decent amount of work here on the walls. We got most of the walls up. There's just a little bit more I have to do on these last 2 parts over here. But I've been toying around with what kind of roof design I want over here, and I think I've settled on this. I feel like it should be a little bit taller, but I just can't make that look good, if I'm being honest. So I think we're going to settle with the more gradual slant up. And now, I guess, while we continue to wait for the bricks to smelt, let me go put on the deep slate roof on those last 2 little sections. These roofs over here are going to be the same exact design that we used for this section here. So it's going to be the same combination of deep slate blocks, and we're also going to break in the tuff, the mossy cobblestone, and the moss every so often. All right, now up next, we just have to mess these roofs up. And of course, you know, it starts raining when I try to do that cool transition. But the build is certainly taking a shape. I think it's a good one. I'm at that weird part of the build where, like, I feel like it looks weird and I'm not sure how it's gonna end up nice, but it usually does. So let me just kind of just trust the process, I suppose. But hopefully we should have a good amount of brick actually smelted so we can finish up all the walls here. And now I believe all of the walls are in. Obviously they have to be decorated a lot more, but everything is closed off. It's like a complete building now, I guess. So that's pretty nice, but now I kind of have to figure out what kind of design I want to do for the exterior of this section. And I feel like doing that tomorrow. So, you know, it's going to be a bunch of hours in the future for me, but probably only a like half a second skip for you guys. So let's see how I'm feeling tomorrow. Hey, look, it's tomorrow, and I'm feeling okay. So that's good, I guess. But I do feel like I've been talking a lot in this video. So to break that up a little bit, let me just kind of put my head down and work on this build for a while, and I'll throw this to a time lapse. At this point, the building is completely done, but there's still a little bit of work I would like to do on the outside, and that's what I would like to do right now to conclude this video. But let me quickly run through everything that I did. 360. 360. Oh, I can't be stopped. I'm too sick with it. Oh, I'm way too sick with it. Hit that guy while I was on fire. It's just, you know, unrivaled. Let's start on the inside, I guess. I think this is probably going to be the most surprising part, but I actually did an interior to pretty much everything, which is not very, you know, common of me. But here's what the main interior looks like. I think it looks pretty cool. Kind of doesn't really look like a factory. I wish this was like create mod or something so I can put some conveyor belts down, because then it would actually look really sick. But in just vanilla, this is what it looks like. A lot of leaves chilling around, because when I don't know what to decorate with, I just kind of put a leaf. And also this is elevated up a little bit because a lot of this area was spawnable for the golems. So I needed to get a little bit creative with how I spawn-proofed everything. So if you see a bunch of random slabs or like this trapdoor, it's because I'm pretty sure this area is spawnable. A lot of trial and error went into this. I found a lot of iron golems just chilling around, but I'm pretty sure they're now all spawning in the farm. But there's this table in the middle, a couple smithing tables, bunch of blocks of iron, a couple blocks of raw iron, a couple chests and stuff. Just some very generic looking interior design. I should probably also throw an anvil here somewhere, but I will maybe remember to do that. I'm probably gonna forget. This room is completely undecorated, but this is kind of just how I get to the farm, which is now over here. And as you can see, it is currently running. I don't know if the rates are better or worse, I'm really not sure. But it should be good enough for me for a while. But in all honesty, I probably don't even need an iron farm anymore, because we have so much iron. But still, I do want to keep it. And then these two buildings jutting off of the main one is just going to be used as storage. So we have a whole bunch of chests in here, a couple pieces of scaffolding acting as some tables, some barrels, nothing too crazy in here. And the other one looks like this. So again, a bunch of chests, some scaffolding, some barrels, all that fun stuff. This one actually does have all my iron in it, and sadly these are all single chests. I should have built these out a little bit further to make them all double, but it's fine, it doesn't really matter. But this is where all my iron actually is. And over here is where all of the poppies are. As you can see, I missed a spot to spawn proof. Hopefully that's fixed now, but I guess I'll take this iron. The pathway here is another product of me spawn proofing things. It doesn't look the best. I don't know if I'm going to change this design later to make it look a little bit better but still remain spawn proofed. Maybe if we bone meal the surrounding grass, it'll just blend in a little bit more and it won't look as bad. But as of right now, it looks kind of weird. I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite thing. As for this building up top, it is also completely empty. So I didn't decorate the inside of here, but it is totally spawn proofed, so nothing should be able to spawn up here. The final thing I want to talk about with this building is I tried to do a couple different building techniques. So instead of just keeping the typical gradient, I worked in some spruce logs and I also worked in some acacia wood. With the spruce, I was kind of going for like some kind of shadow effect here, because it's like a shade or two darker than the mud. And then for the acacia, I'm just going for a different kind of like rundown look for the walls. Like maybe something happened over time. Like maybe some of the walls are eroded and the color changed. I don't really know like scientifically what's going on, but that's kind of the idea I was going for. Figured I want to push myself a little bit further when it comes to building, and I want to try some more advanced techniques. And I see a lot of like really good builders using shading and stuff like that in their builds. I want to try to get better at that, so this is my first attempt. Overall though, I think the building looks pretty solid, and it's definitely functional, and certainly overkill. I don't need this building to be as big as it is. But like I mentioned before, we are not quite done yet. I want to just kind of bone meal the outside here and maybe set up like a poppy field or something like that. Like I think that would fit over here pretty well, considering obviously this generates a lot of poppies. Before I do any of that though, I want to clear out all of these disgusting shulker boxes. They are way too disorganized. I always try to keep them organized as I go, and at some point I just get lazy and throw my entire inventory into one, and that kind of just stacks on top of each other until none of them are organized anymore. So let me go clear all these out and I'll be right back. Back at the iron factory once again, and I did see an iron golem outside. So where the hell did this iron golem spawn? I have no idea. I just picked up some iron right here. Dude, I'm so tired of spawn-proofing things. Why can iron golems spawn just everywhere? Like, dude, they're huge. They always spawn in areas where they just suffocate, like Mojang. Stop making them spawn into their deaths. I say that as I literally just built a farm that continuously kills them. That's a little bit ironic. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. But let me just get a little bit of stone slabbage. And let me slab these 2 blocks on the inside. I really didn't think iron golems can spawn right here. Now we just have to decorate the outside, and I think I can call this build complete. But I just realized that I did forget another flower. I want the tall red flowers as well. I think that'll look really nice with the poppies. I just have to go try to find some and bone meal them, because I just don't have any on me. Only 1 steak? That's all I got out of that? Did you see how cool that was? I don't even want it. That's disrespectful. Before I start actually decorating anything out here, I want to move all these chests as well. Like, this is a lot of stone that I'm probably going to use in the future, but I really don't want to just take it all home with me. That would take a lot of trips. So I think instead we're just going to use the extra chests in the storage area of this. And do you guys think I could just break all these and transport them over in enough time? I think I can. We're going to find out if I'm an idiot or not. All right, this is going to be a lot of blocks on the ground, but let's see if I can do this. No, they're despawning. No, I didn't completely make it. I got most of them inside. No. I wonder how many stacks I lost. Dude, are you serious? There was these bushes right here this whole time? It's not like I flew that far away to get them, but like, come on. How did I not realize these were right here? Where did you spawn? Oh my God, I hate these things. All right, time to get to the bottom of this. Where did you spawn? All right, turns out they can spawn right here. I'm so tired of this. Maybe that's enough now. Who knows? Probably not. But I do know that this area is now clear. So let me grab some dirt that I just moved over here. We can make a good area for some farmland. I think this shape is probably pretty good. We're gonna have the farm be over here as well, and then, you know, bump up to this level. I think that will look nice. And I also would like to kick up the elevation over here somewhere, because I'd like to have some more farmland around here, or just some fields in general. And I think I made a big enough area where we can kick this up even 1 block higher. And we're gonna have one other small hill. I don't even know if you can call it that. We're gonna have another small one over here though. Okay, so it looks like these small areas added some much needed elevation to this spot. So now we just have to plant the fields and bone meal some stuff. And I think that's gonna look great in a time lapse. So let's cut it away to the final time lapse of this episode. Alright, so with the final bit of decoration on the outside, this build is now complete. Not gonna lie, every time I throw on these shaders, I forget how beautiful they look. But anyway, let's take a look at the build with some shaders on. I am actually really quite happy with how this place turned out. It's another situation where when I was building this, I didn't think it was going to look good in the end. But now here we are at the end, and I am very happy with this. Now, obviously, I think this is a massive improvement over what the normal spawn looked like when it was just like that little mountain thing. And I think this opens us up pretty well to transform the rest of the spawn area here and have a whole bunch of different potential factories or warehouses or workshops or just buildings like that over here. I think that would be really cool. And then, of course, this is what the interior looks like. I think it looks pretty sick. Really big fan of this roof. I like how this turned out. And of course, most importantly, this thing has been pumping out iron this whole time, and we actually have a decent amount. But that is going to do it for this episode of my hardcore Minecraft series. Really hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.